That's a good segue into skipping opportunity for citizens to speak and talking about our next meeting on the 18th.
We want to go back to bed and breakfasts? I mean,
I'd really like to go back to corridors too, but they seem to change.
Okay, I'm not going to be here on the 18th.
Uh-oh.
So
How about you, Christine?
I should be here, yeah.
Okay.
I'll be here.
I'll be here. 4 of us. We can. All right. We can muddle along. Which one? Yeah. Are you going to be here, Jeff?
Yeah. Just want to say something.
Okay.
If I may. I just happened to notice on Facebook that of the 17 coolest places to live in the United States, the city of Athens has been voted number 3.
Oh, amazing.
Right there.
Coolest place, huh?
Coolest
This
place.
just in.
We were beat out only by Chattanooga, Tennessee, which is cool.
Yeah, I know.
Silver City, New Mexico.
Which is also cool.
So we're doing
Okay.
something right.
They were doing something
Very
right.
nice.
Whatever it is.
Should we discuss that? How we can do it up?
Sure, coolness.
Coolness.
Coolness. The coolness index. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so bed and breakfast, are you going to come back with a proposal, maybe? So we could, I mean, I guess I'd like,
Is that what happens when you...
well, sometimes you have to just recruit somebody to do it. I wasn't too adverse to maybe modifying the law to increase the arterials and, sort of, what can we stand? I mean, where were we? We talked about
You
it
guys
a
are all
lot.
over the place. And
We were all over the place, yes. And I don't necessarily want to hear from the Tourism Bureau. Whatever we do will affect them. But let's first decide what we will do. Because I don't see, it'll take 2 weeks anyway. And then we'll do RJ's corridor the same day when he's gone, right?
Oh, sure.
No, I'm kidding. Okay.
Well, again, part of the discussion was to, as I say, add arterial. The only one that's out of the loop is Stimson, I believe.
Right, and we're going to add, we talked about that.
Okay.
We all agreed on that.
The other one is a definition of bed and breakfast is probably putting a limit. I think if I looked at other cities, it says no more than 30 days or X amount of times so it's a short term turnaround in terms of bed and breakfasts. I can't remember other factors we were going to look at, but those were just some of them.
You all
Kitchens,
seemed rather averse to having them in
residential areas.
residential. And I mean, I believe that that's what was occurring, and that's a request that's come forward.
Well, maybe we ought to identify what the issues are that we see in that, because zones are zones, and there are differences. If you made it a conditionally permitted use, maybe.
Well,
So in other words, we'll get around the problem by kicking it up to the zoning board.
I just know that there's, people view East State Street with the colonial type homes, and it's a possibility. But then I hear the related issues relative to parking and,
In hills, and slope.
Okay, well, the best suggestion I would come is everybody makes their wish list and we'll blend them and see what we
Okay.
have. Again, I could see having conditional uses in R2s maybe, or right now, if I remember correctly, it's possible in it's basically the arterials and that's about it. But the idea is, do we want to drop it down to R3s, R2s, R1s, conditional, and they have to go to the zoning board? And then what conditions would you consider relevant to granting the use of that particular property?
So that would be a potential.
Yeah.
And I'm not adverse to letting somebody who's currently has a rooming house do a bed and breakfast in the summer, when the students are gone.
Part of the structure, again, whether it falls, and I believe bed and breakfasts fall with the transient guest tax versus a rental, which is not. So we'd have to delineate when somebody says, I'm going to switch over for the summer to be a bed and breakfast for 3 months. We have to make sure we capture that. So it's almost another type of...
Well, the rental permit is there, and then perhaps the transient guest
Now,
tax.
is the Airbnb, is that separate of this issue, or?
Airbnb, is it? I don't know
I
if
think
it's separate.
relative
I know
to
we...
this issue.
Yeah.
I think it's related, but I don't want to speak out of turn, but it's always been my impression that when we're talking about bed and breakfasts, that we're talking about the traditional weekend getaway bed and breakfast, not where somebody is renting out their available bedroom on a Tuesday night.
Do you think we need to make that distinction now, as far as?
I think
Probably.
we should try to.
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of that, I think, would be built into the zoning classifications. most of that issue would be, I think, falling into an R1 neighborhood.
Because I was reading this last week about rogue hotels that people are worried about with the whole Airbnb thing and stuff. So I thought it might be something that you want to consider along with it.
So we'll start with what we agree on and then move beyond that, and then you can handle the time after that and the time after that, okay?
Okay, good.
But we do need to include Stimson at least because they're under a time.
Right.
And that's
12
ticking
months.
in terms of
And
their...
Mayor, the other thing, I don't know if we want to say that they have their own separate set of conditional use and go to the BZA, because the conditional use permit, or conditional uses, those findings are established by Ohio Revised Code through the Court of Board of Zoning Appeals, if I remember correctly. So I don't know if we can put our own set of conditions to it that have to be approved by the BZA. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, interpreted is more the word, right?
Yeah, I mean, if we're going to put it as conditional use, it'd probably have to follow the same standards that you have to now.
Well, it's only
It's in
ingress and egress and distance
Yeah, it's
from the
very
lot line.
minimal. I'm not saying it can't stay on conditional use. I'm just saying that I don't think we can make its own conditions.
I'm assuming with the Ohio Revised Code is that that's the minimum, and we can actually add more hoops to jump through in terms of we do that anyway with rentals, right? I mean, it's not covered in there, but as a conditional use, does it? You know, part of the thing when you're looking at zoning board, does it fit the neighborhood? Flavor of the neighborhood would be a question that arises there. Is it, does it impact the natives negatively? And these are part of the conditional use already, right?
Right, location,
Variances.
size, character, that it will generally fit in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Correct.
And I guess I'd be looking towards the guidance of if we're going to say that they have the choice of making that granting conditional use, what would we want them to be looking at when they say so? Just say, oh, it's it's an R1, let's give it to them, or it's a nice house and it's big enough for enough beds, and let's give it to
So a
them.
guideline.
Yeah,
that would be set
guidelines, yeah.
forth. Okay.
Yeah, more
I
like
think
guidelines.
We ought to assign the mayor to do that task. The conditional use. Oh, he's probably got too much to do
I saw
anyway.
his office. He's got too much to do.
I got too much to do, yes.
Oh, I guess I have an excuse too. You look at my living room.
I know what your living room looks like.
It looks like hell. Okay.
One more thing. If we're going to think about this, and you talk about the Airbnbs, if those are as you say rogue hotels, so to speak, there's a tax aspect of this too. I mean, basically, what is it? The classic Al Capone wasn't gotten for racketeering; it was gotten for tax evasion, if my memory is correct. So we always have that as a hammer for the Airbnbs, that they're just not paying their taxes.
And that will be discussed maybe in 3 meetings when RJ is back.
Okay.
All right, so we'll spend 1 hour having a free-for-all on the 18th, not discussing financial, but discussing potential zoning changes. And that would you carry that back to Chris Fall, if you would?
Yes.
You're on her committee, and just say that if they have any opinions, they could forward them to us. Christy, Paul, I, and Paula will be here, and we'll just carry them forward. Okay?
Can do.
Thank you. Any other announcements? There were some that were mentioned, the mental health center tour, discussion. And the one that I attended a meeting with some members of the Planning Commission, I thought they did a very nice job. So if it's the same presentation or sharpened up a bit, it's well worth going to. Notice I call it the Mental Health Center, not the asylum. Anyway, I'm such a retrograde person. All right, so having completed all the items on our agenda, we are adjourned.
Thank you, Nancy.
You got to